morning, everybody. This is Kim from the Court Reporters Cafe. Please excuse my voice right now. I just got out of the hospital after being in there for 8 days and still don't know why I was there, but I guess they'll tell me tomorrow. But anyway, I needed a little pick-me-up today, and my pick-me-up was to listen to the latest version of the Court Reporters Cafe because Stephanie joined me on there and is absolutely a delight. Her and her husband run this company together. They are definitely a family affair. I think they are doing great things out there in California. One of these days I'll make it out there so I can really see what's going on. But for the time being, listen to Stephanie and what she has to say about the state of court reporting in California itself and where you can stand out amongst the crowd. Okay? So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy it. We'll talk soon.
All rise.
Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me on here.
Well, I appreciate you getting up early. I mean, it's what time is it out there in California?
8:15. I'm up by now.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I get used to waking up early during the week. So when the weekend hits and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to sleep in.
No, gone are those days. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got kids still, but mine are my dogs. They wake me up and like, it's time.
Yeah.
It's time.
We want to be fed. Yeah.
They
are children.
They are children. All right. So here's what I want to know about you. So I follow you on Facebook. So I get to know everything about you guys and what you do. I think what you and your husband do are hilarious on there. You do some great things. And I know that you've also interviewed you have a podcast as well, right? So,
yes.
Yeah. So I've watched you interview some of my close friends. I saw you and Tori together, which was cool.
Okay. You know her good.
Oh, yeah. She's like
amazing.
My neighbor. She lives 45 minutes from me.
Perfect.
So yeah, we try to get together and have Mexican food, meet halfway and have Mexican food and get caught up or go to one of the wineries that we have a lot of wineries around here. So we'll catch up and go have dinner, etc.
Nice.
She's a good girl.
Yes.
So what I want to do is I want to know about you personally. Tell everybody who you are, who you're married to, you got kids, that kind of stuff. And we'll start from there.
Yeah, so I learned about court reporting when I was a senior in high school. I just happened upon it from a relative, and I feel so blessed I found it that early. My parents told me you should go to a real school, go to real college. So I did for 2 years and got my AA, and I said, okay, is that enough? And they said, okay, fine, you can go to court reporting school now. So because I just knew that was for me, I could just tell that was my skill set, and I thought I was going to love it, and I did. So went to school for 2 years full time, and I'm a machine writer, just for context.
Oh, okay, good.
And so I went in 2002, 2002, and graduated in 2004. And when I was sitting for my qualifier in that time period, this couple of months, I also got married.
Wow.
Do not recommend. No, you have to plan a wedding and you don't know when you're going to be done.
I thought you were going to say you don't recommend getting married. Okay.
Oh, no. Should be careful of my words.
Yes.
No, we've been married 21 years and I've been a reporter for 21 years. So it's kind of easy to remember.
Awesome.
The dates are the same. And I was a reporter for other people, agencies, whatnot, as a freelance, doing depositions primarily for several years, 3-4 years. And he was a sales and marketing kind of guy. And he was in between fields and in between careers and said, hey, your parents own a business. How hard can it be? Let's do it. So we just jumped in and had 5 clients to start in our spare bedroom, and the rest is history. So we started Regal court reporting, and we've just slowly grown it over the years. And so we're located in Orange County, California. I should have led with
Is
that.
it Santa Ana?
Yeah, that's technically
Okay.
the city that our office is in.
I got you.
But
And you no longer work out of your house, huh? You guys have an actual
oh, yeah.
office?
Yeah, because we have
Oh,
a
good.
team of about 15 employees or so.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, they're amazing. They allow us to get out of town and not be tethered so much to our
Hmm.
business. So they're
I
they're
get
great.
that. When did you start having kids?
Let's see, 5 years after we were married, so 2009. So
Okay.
we started the business just before that, maybe a year or so, or two, a year or two before that. And that's kind of, I was very new in the reporting world, only had been reporting a few years. So it seems kind of
Hmm.
foolish now, but I knew that once I started having kids, it would be an extra challenge. So
Right.
I thought, well, it's kind of like now or we wait 20 years. So let's just try it. And
Yeah.
so we've
Well, I'm
just kind of learned as we've
assuming,
gone.
yeah, I'm assuming that Isaiah is a huge help and
Oh, yeah. While I was having babies, he was running the business and I would just take small jobs here and there. And yeah, it's been a great partnership. We've, learned how to
right.
work together, which is a challenge, but we sharpen each other, which is good.
Sure. I think I find that a lot of people that work with their spouses, their significant others, the best thing to do is everybody has a lane and just stay in it.
You are exactly right. I'm a little bit of a control freak sometimes and I try to cross over into his lane and that does not go well for
Yeah.
me. So,
Yeah, I know that with me, when I got my husband was a probation officer. And so when I started court reporting, which was only 10 years ago,
oh,
I yeah, I've only been a court
cool.
reporter for 10 years, but I remember going into court the first time and he kept telling me, "Hey, this," and I'm like, "Look, stay in your lane. I'm doing we're doing two separate things, and yeah, I know I'm learning this as I go and I'm going to make it happen." And then I would every once in a while get called to be in the courtroom that he worked in. And
Oh,
every time I would go into this, it's a little county courthouse in Lincolnton, North Carolina. I would go in and my husband calls me Boo Bear.
oh.
Yeah, and I would walk into this little courthouse and all the probation officers, "Oh, look, it's Boo Bear. Boo Bear's here." Or the
Oh.
judge would come out and say, "Hey, Boo Bear." And I'm like, "Oh my God." And then my husband was like a court reporter's worst nightmare. He would use a big word and he would look at the court reporter and say, "Madam Court Reporter, that's spelled," and he would spell it. Or he would say, "Madam Court Reporter, did you get that?" And
Oh.
I'm like, "Yes, I did. Is it spelled, blah, blah, blah." And so he would, let's see, I got a little bit of echo here. Um, so he was really, really good at just making sure. Can you hear me? A little bit?
A little
How
bit.
about now?
Volume went down. There you go. There you go.
There you go. Okay. So, yeah, I just say, stay in your lane. You do you. I do me. I'm going to learn as I go. And I don't know about you, but I felt like the hardest part of court reporting. Now, you're different because you learned a new language with your fingers.
Ah, yes.
That's the way I look at it. With me, I've been talking all my life. So I just had to learn certain briefs and come up with briefs to make my job faster, what
Hmm.
I was doing faster. So, but I feel like with all of us, we're having to learn a lingo that we're not similar or we're not familiar with. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
all those legal jargon, the legal words I think that was the hardest part for me.
Yeah, especially in court, there's a lot
Yeah.
of legal. I've been doing more court the last, I don't know, 5, 10 years, and yeah, it's a whole different ballgame, but
It
it's
is. And I've
cool.
had a couple of court reporters that were freelance call me up and say, or send me an email and say, "Okay, I'm getting into court reporting in court now, but this is a different animal. I thought it would be easier and it's not. I thought it would be this
Mm.
and it's not. Can you give me some briefs for this, that, and the other? Do you have anything for that?" So that was, it's interesting if you can work both of them. And I'm assuming that you do.
Yes. So in California, they laid off almost every civil court reporter over the last, I don't know, 10, 30, 20 years or so, which is unfortunate, but, it's budget cuts and whatnot. California.
Hmm. Yeah.
We can't manage our state very well. And so now there is not a dedicated court reporter in a courtroom. So it has become a private market. And so if an attorney wants his trial or his hearing reported, he has to call an agency like Regal and say,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, I need a reporter tomorrow in department so and so," and we help him find one and provide that.
Right.
And there's pros and cons to this. I mean, it's opened up a new market to the freelance world, but then again, you have people like me who had never done that before,
Mm-hmm.
just walking in, and I'd never done an appeal. I'd never done anything. So we
Right.
just have to learn as we go. So we don't get that training, I think, that officials do, having a team, having a
Yeah.
more experienced reporter teaching you the ropes. So
Well,
it's a,
that's not always the case. It's not always the case where they get the training that they need, the
oh,
shadowing, all that stuff, because in North Carolina, we have officials still, and our officials cover civil and criminal.
oh, good.
So we also have the lowest rate per page rate for criminal in the country, which is $2 a
Oh,
page.
ooh,
So here's the conundrum. What you were just talking about just kind of hit home. So if our state were to go to, all right, we're going to make these civil attorneys just hire and pay their own court reporters to come in, you're going to have officials who do criminal quit because they're not going to make the money that they could doing civil. You just kind of swallow it with criminal. You're like, okay, it's necessary
oh,
evil, but when I get civil stuff, it helps me pay for a scopist or whatever, because scopists charge what, $1.25 a page normally, and I make $2 a page. Why would my scopist make more than me?
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So in civil, there are no page rate mandates,
They
no codified.
no, mm-mm, no.
Oh, interesting.
They're completely in our discretion. Of course, you don't want to,
Yeah.
make somebody mad or whatever. But there are times where people say, "Look," because in North Carolina we get 90 days to produce a transcript,
Wow.
civil or criminal. So if somebody goes, look, I need this like tomorrow. Okay, well, that page rate goes up because,
Mm,
it's having to be expedited.
yeah.
And I'm letting other people fall by the wayside to take care of you. So here's what I got to do. And of course, it's easier, when you're a real time reporter and your real time looks great and it wasn't just crazy in the courtroom that day. But is that, I mean, as far as you're concerned, when you're going in depositions or you're going in the courtroom, do you feel like you have more leeway over the attorneys in a deposition or in the courtroom?
Good question. Definitely a deposition because the judge is the boss in the courtroom. But
Hmm.
most of them are, you know, aware of our presence and conscientious of the fact that we're trying to make a good record, and they're open to, hey, if we talk too fast, you just let us know. There have been a few. I've had a judge reprimand me for interrupting and say, "What was that, Your Honor?" Because he mumbles and refuses to use his microphone, and he's
Hmm.
85 years old. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
do you want a record or don't you? So I sat there and took down his reprimand of me, saying court reporters are not allowed to interrupt me, blah, blah, blah. You made me lose my train of thought. And I just took it all down because technically I could get in trouble. We have a licensing board and we are
Right.
supposed to stop the proceeding if we're not getting it. And so, hey, if the judge tells me I can't, I'm putting that on the record and
Sure.
cover my
Sure.
behind. But most are fine and good, and or I will, if I don't hear an attorney, I'll turn to the judge. Your Honor, I missed that. Can we have him repeat?
Yes. Yeah, and I do that because, well, I'm a resident now. I used to be a rover, so I would travel to different courthouses as needed. Now I'm a resident. I have two courthouses in my district, and my judge, my the judge that hired me, right, my resident senior, he's like, Kim, you do what you got to do. You're taking the record
Nice.
down. You do what you got to do. But we also have in North Carolina where our judges rotate every 6 months. So every 6 months, I get two new judges for 6 months, and so on and so forth.
Whoa.
So I always go into the judge's chambers to introduce myself before proceedings start. And I'll say, Judge, I just want to know how you want me to handle this, if they're speaking over each other, if they're doing whatever. And 9 times out of 10, they're like, you do what you got to do. You're taking down the record.
But there's always that one that says, "You asked me to take care of it for you,"
Hmm.
which is fine. But how do I do that without interrupting the proceedings? I haven't. Do I
Yeah.
send out smoke signals and say, "Dear judge, can you please have them? Hello."
Wave your arms in the air.
Yeah,
Oh.
I always thought that I would get like ping pong paddles and put things on them. I gotta pee. Slow down.
I love that. I've thought about doing that for drivers in my car in our awful traffic.
Yes.
Send messages like "Turn your headlights on,
Yes.
idiot,"
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Speed up just
that's
to go. Yeah.
I like that. Or even just a
Yeah.
colored flag like "Hello."
Yeah. Red means everybody's talking over each other. Well, and I will send out an email. I sent out an email to our DA's office and to our public defender's office and said, here's what I need from y'all, because I want your record. And I don't know how many times I use the word your record in that email. I want your record to be as clean as possible. I respect your job and I want you to respect mine. And this is what I need from you. So your record is clear and your record is that kind of thing. Of
Smart.
course of course it was crickets, but at least I got the word out there. And when I started a trial, I actually got a caption that had the full names instead of S. Smith. And then they
Well,
call
that's
him,
exciting.
yeah. And then they call him Sean during the whole trial. And I'm like, is that Sean? Is it Shaun? How do you spell that? So at least I made a little bit of progress. But anyway, how do you feel the state of court reporting is in the state of California?
Well, it's improving thanks to acquiring the voice method a few years back. Um, it has been rough because the cost of living in California, especially over COVID, a lot of people realized, hey, I can do this remotely. I'm
Mm-hmm.
out of here. And so they have a California license, but a lot of people have moved, and we already had a shortage of reporters. We don't like to call it a shortage because that's been kind of leveraged against us and trying to
Right.
replace us. But it's true. We've had a trouble covering our jobs. And like yesterday, for example, there's a convention, a local court reporting convention that
Mm-hmm.
started. And we had trouble getting all of our jobs covered. We always do whenever all the reporters are
Yeah.
taken off, you know? So it's particularly hurt us in court because what happens is, like I said, it has been privatized in civil. And so all the court reporters that the county owns, has hired, are
Mm-hmm.
all in criminal. And so they make sure for human rights and all of that, they make sure that the criminal courts do have reporters so that they can have a record made. But civil is just a free for all. And sometimes, I don't know how your courts work during the day, but if it's a dedicated trial, there may just be one matter for the day.
Mm-hmm.
However, if it's hearings or motions, law and motion type things, there could be 10 cases called for the exact hour of 8:30. So it's a little crazy. So one attorney, she hires Regal, so there'll be a court reporter in there for her matter at 8:30. Another person will hire somebody else, and there may be three court reporters sitting in the same courtroom to do a 10-minute motion. It is the
Wow.
most insane thing. So we just got a law passed that at least mandates attorneys to talk with each other in a
Mm-hmm.
case, so that at least two reporters aren't hired for the same hearing,
Yeah.
so we can start eliminating some duplication. But anyway, I'm getting into the weeds here,
No,
but
no, I love hearing about that.
yeah, so it's caused a bit of a problem because it seems like there's even a bigger shortage than there is, because there's four court reporters in one courtroom when we could be evenly
Spreading
distributed.
them out. Yeah.
It's insane. So that's part of the problem. And then also in-person work has been a problem because, nobody wants to get out and drive in the traffic for 2 hours, um, when you could take a Zoom depot. So the in-person, getting those covered, has been a challenge as well. So,
Well,
we're
yeah.
making it work, but having a huge new flock of students and new court reporters in voice writers has been a huge boost. So we definitely advocated for that, and we're excited to have
I'm
them.
so glad. I'm so glad that y'all
Yeah.
did. I know that. Do you feel like remote court reporting is going by the wayside, or do you feel like it's still got momentum?
Yeah, so in our business, at least, for depositions, it's about 70 or 80% remote still. Can you believe that?
Wow.
And then court is mostly in person, but hearings you can actually still appear remotely via their
Mm-hmm.
kind of Teams system in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and which makes a lot of sense, honestly. If it's a 15-minute hearing, it's kind of crazy to drive an hour and a half to take a short hearing. But some courtrooms
Right.
still require in person. And I'm so glad when I'm there in person and the online platform goes down, I'm going, ooh, I'm glad I'm not on the other end of that, you know,
Well,
because tech
that makes
happens.
sense. Yeah, tech happens, and but I also understand in a place like California, especially in Southern California, you are going to have the traffic issues and getting there and showing up, and you get that fee and that fee. So it's cheaper just to do it by remote, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So, and I have friends out there in California. Most of them are freelance.
Ah,
They work for several different companies, but then I have a few that are in court, especially new ones that just got certified.
yep.
Excuse me, and they struggle. They really struggle. I mean, they're officials, so this isn't you as a firm owner sending people into court for a 15-minute hearing. So they're officials, they're in there, they're in criminal, and I think California still does calendar call and that whole nine, and they take it down and all that stuff. In North Carolina, we do calendar call, but I take down first appearances, I take down pleas, probation violations, motions, that kind of stuff. But they're having a first appearance, they get an attorney, that's it. But when they're standing there in front of a room full of people going, John Smith, Kathy, whatever, and all that, I don't take any of that down.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I mark it on my calendar, present, absent, in custody, whatever, so that when we get to that name again, I can refer to that and I know where it is.
Mm,
But a lot of the California criminal voice writers have said that they're being told to do real time, and they're being told
yeah.
that they can't record the room.
Whoa.
And I've never heard of that ever, because you
I
have to be
haven't
super,
either.
yeah, you have to be super person, literally. Maybe it's just they don't want to see it. We don't want to see your backup recorder or whatever, but I can't, unless you're super person, you can't get every word.
Especially in calendar, that's crazy.
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
sitting out in that when we had to do our internship hours and they said, "Here, take calendar." And I think I just froze. It was like, "Well, you guys are
Mhm.
nuts."
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to keep up with no matter who you are. And it took me a while to where I say Keek and Cack for my Q and my A. And it gets to where they call somebody to take a plea and they'll say, state your name for the record. Cack, my name is John Smith. Keek, where do you live? Cack, I live in whatever. And so I Keek and Cack it because it moves faster. And then I can change it later, or I make a dictionary where my Keek and Cack represents the court and CAC is the defendant. So it
Right.
comes out that way. And if I need to change a speaker later, it's easier to do. And I just
Hmm.
had a mentor mentee meeting about that because of what all the California court reporters were telling me.
Ah, that's smart.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm trying to help as many as I can to get into that point where you just got to feel confident. But it takes a few years, don't you agree, to feel confident?
Well, yeah, and I feel bad for these new voice writers because we try to put them with a mentor and hook them
Mm-hmm.
up with a mentor, but we only have machine writers who are the experienced ones in California. All our voice
Mm-hmm.
writers are brand new, unless they've come from another state, but that's exceedingly rare.
Yeah.
Um, so it's a challenge because I'm trying to, I want them to get the work. I need them in the field. Like I'm very welcoming of them, but they did get through school rather quickly,
Mm-hmm.
usually.
Mm-hmm.
And so the the amount of struggle and fussing with every comma or every test,
Yeah.
they got through school quickly. And so they need a little bit more molding and a little bit more training and a little bit more, and they definitely need that mentorship, and I can provide
Yeah.
that for most things, but
Mm-hmm.
not voice specific things. I'm still a
Yeah.
novice at that.
Well, and that's the problem is a lot of the schools, they're in California, not the ones online, because the ones online are usually taught by voice writers for the most part. But in California, I don't know of any teachers that are voice writers or know what voice writers do that are teaching it to people.
We the local school that I teach at, very part-time,
Mm-hmm.
they use a voice writer, and so because it's all remote learning, so they
Mm-hmm.
use a voice writer from a different state, so they do
Oh,
get
good.
that. um, the only all in-person school that I know of, I don't even think they offer voice yet. They're just establishing their voice program, so
Mm-hmm.
that wouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
um, so I think they are getting, at least from what I understand, they are
Mm-hmm.
getting a lot of voice
Well,
writing
that's
teachers,
good.
but
And yeah, I can tell by the number of people in the groups that I do for mentoring, the majority are California. The majority are
mhm.
California students or new California reporters looking for help, you know, and advice on doing those things. So I'm
Well,
happy. I'm
thank you.
happy. Oh
Thank
gosh.
you from us.
I am happy. And if I don't charge them anything because it's something new, but if you ever have anybody that just needs a little bit of an extra push, you send them, give them my email, and I'm happy to
Okay.
give them some advice. But I won't go into all that. That's not my job. I mean, that's just something I do for the fun of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Well, how?
mentoring new
Oh
reporters.
God,
It's
yes.
because
They have
I
so
wouldn't have.
much passion.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I
And I
mean,
had a
it's
great
just.
mentor.
Oh yeah, that makes. And I had a machine mentor, and then of course I had Tori Pittman who does both. So I
Oh,
had two of them. So it was great for me to just kind of sit in and learn that way. So, but anyway, how soon? I'm curious how soon after voice writing was accepted in California did you hire your first voice writer?
almost immediately. We were one of the
Ooh.
first. Yeah, we were one of the first agencies that were on board with it. In my opinion, and from my experience, the biggest concern that agencies have with hiring them is just having to train their clients, because the clients have never seen this before unless they're from a different state originally.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to tell them, hey, it's okay. There's this new, it's just education. And that takes
Mm-hmm.
time, one by one. And the delicate balance is, we like to give the client a heads up. Hey, you're getting a voice writer tomorrow. Heads up, it's not dead digital. It is a
Mm-mm.
licensed court reporter. They're just using a different method, blah, blah, blah. But you don't want to give them the opportunity to say, oh, I don't want that because I don't know that. So
Yeah.
it's a delicate balance, because we inform them, but we're just like, hey, great news, we have this new cool method. We like make it all happy, like, yeah, look at,
Yes.
great, we have these new. So we have had very few objections, but it does take an extra effort to put that out
Yeah,
there. And
it's about just ignorance on what it is, and
correct.
yeah, I mean, I don't mean that, and I don't like the word because it sounds so, "Ugh," but
Hmm.
it is ignorance. You've got to educate yourself on what it is that we're doing. I am real time all the time for myself, and I am licensed to real time to other people. So I'm happy. But what I get in court, honestly, and it's hilarious, but that tells you how many people don't know about this. My judge, after our juries reach their verdict, he sends them into the back room and he goes back and talks to them and thanks them, for being
Oh,
a part. And so he'll go back there and he'll come out and he'll say, Kim, I need you back here. And I'm like, okay. And so I go back and I said, what's wrong? And the jury's still sitting there and he'll say, they want to know that you're okay. They think you're on oxygen.
oh. That's
And
funny.
it's either that or it's my jury's behind me, so they can see my screen and everything I'm taking down, and so then they'll go into deliberations and ask for the transcript. Well, it's not a
Yeah,
transcript yet. It's not an
right.
official transcript yet. I mean, the judges will say no. Now they can come out and I can read back a question and answer. That's fine, but I can't send them the whole trial for it's not certified.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I'm so glad you're taking that extra step to educate the attorneys about what they're getting.
Yeah, I mean, because there are a lot of digitals used by some of the big box agencies in our state, whether it's legal or not, it's happening. And so I don't want that to be confused with the real deal.
Yeah,
So that's very important because we set ourselves apart and say we will never send you a digital. We will never, because sometimes they've been screwed by that before. They
I've
thought they
heard
were getting
that.
a licensee and they're not. And so if they see this new thing come in, they freak out if they have any experience at all. Some don't even look at us. They don't even
Hmm.
know we
Yeah.
exist. But but I want to make sure they know we are not sending an imposter. This is the real deal.
Yeah, I think that's it's showing respect for the different methods. It's showing, like I said, I have so much respect for voice writer or for machine writers because it's learning a different language. I did not get into this business until I was 50. So
Hmm.
almost 10 years now. And I cannot even, and the only reason I chose voice, because I do love to type, was it was quicker.
Oh yeah, that's
It was
a big
quicker.
pull.
Yeah, it is. I had to get to work. I need to go to work. I need to do my thing. And so learning voice was just second nature for me. But it's up to the individual to make yourself the best that you can be at whatever method you're using. If nothing else, please do real time for yourself. I do know a couple of old school voice writers that still plug their mask into a little handheld, and they take down all the proceedings and then they have to type it up.
Ugh.
I mean, I can't even imagine. It's still better than just hitting record, but, but, it's why do you put yourself through that?
And can they even read back?
No.
They,
Mm-mm.
yeah, that's not okay.
No, that's not okay because, and I tell people in the mentor mentee group, I'm like, they're like, how do I prepare for it? And I said, look, if the judge calls them up to the bench and you're not taking down a bench conference, he says, come on up. I say bench co. It comes out with a parenthetical, says off the record bench conference. And then I go back to my last question and answer and read it to myself to make sure it's understandable. And then when they go sit down, if the judge says, okay, go ahead and repeat your question, and then the attorney says, I'm sorry, I don't remember what it was. I don't even wait for them to ask me. I'm like, I can tell you that, and I'll read it back to them so that they know.
Nice.
It's
Yeah, you
about being
anticipate.
prepared. Yes. Do you do the same thing
Exactly.
when you're writing?
You know, I always forget, but I'm clean enough that yeah, I haven't had too much of an issue. But it is always those moments. Speaking of just read back, it is always those
Mm-hmm.
moments where everybody talked at the same time, or somebody was super fast and nobody heard it. So they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
reporter, you're a superwoman. Why don't you?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, that was the one time I dropped. Also,
Yeah.
really.
If nobody else gets it, surely the court reporter did. But and that's a good thing. I don't know what software you're on, but I'm on Eclipse and I go
Me
up to
too.
that. Yeah, I go up to that question while they're at the bench conference. And if it doesn't make any sense, I hit Alt J. It plays the room audio in my ear and I fix everything so it's perfect. And I'm
Yes,
ready for you.
you look like the superwoman that you are.
That's exactly right. Well, do any of your voice writers do they follow and shadow with a steno writer when you first hire them?
Well, that's an excellent question. So, in California, our court reporting programs that are California approved,
Hmm.
meaning you can automatically qualify to take the test because you went to a California school. Those require 60 hours of shadowing, of apprenticeship, of whatever.
Hmm.
So, and it has to be split between depot and court.
Hmm.
So it's great because it forces you to see different situations, be side by side with a working reporter, all of that. Pretend like it's your own. And that's huge, hugely important. Well, so I would just always assume, oh, they've had those 60 hours. Well, what we've realized over the last year, even, is, and it's not just from voice writers because it's just there are so many different not methods, there are so many different
Hmm.
programs and schools, and a lot of them are online now. So I could take a school course in Texas or that's
Hmm.
based out of Texas, but it's remote.
Hmm.
And who knows what the curriculum is, who knows what the requirements are. So what I'm learning is everyone's getting through faster, they're taking all kinds of different programs, and they may not have that requirement. And I learned
Yeah.
that the hard way because I've had a new voice writer come and she says, okay, I'm licensed. Can I start working? Oh, by the way, maybe I should sit in a depot because I don't even know what that looks like. And I'm like, and I had a
Yeah.
mini heart attack, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so now we have a few questions, kind of vetting questions. And not that they're not capable, but they just need that extra experience sometimes.
Sure.
So yes, we do. If we find out they didn't go to a California school, then we say, okay, why don't you sit out with one of our reporters a few times, see how comfortable you are, and make up a transcript from this proceeding,
Mm-hmm.
pretend like you were the reporter, all of that. That's huge. The other vetting question that I ask, that I've learned, is that because a lot of voice writers are online, because all the programs are online now,
Mm-hmm.
they have never had to worry about their volume.
Yeah.
So if they did not take the CVR test, because there's different paths to getting licensed in California,
Mm-hmm.
they could have taken just the California test, not just, I mean, it's a challenge,
Sure. Yeah.
but they may not have had to do it in person because our test is online still
Mm.
from COVID. So they have not had their volume in check. And so I've asked that question now, did you take the CVR? If they did, cool, you can take in person. I don't have to worry about it. But if you didn't, maybe you're a little too loud. Well, let's find out. Why don't you come sit in on an
Yeah.
in-person?
Yeah, I'm finding out too that a lot of the court reporters that are remote are using an open mic instead of their mask. And
Yes.
I've done depositions. I have really good time down in November and December for Christmas. I get 2 weeks off. I like my money, so sometimes I will take remote work and do all the things. I have my notary. I can
Mm-hmm.
do all that just to make some extra money, and I still do it with my mask.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because that's just another opportunity for me to continue to grow my skills by using my closed mic because I use it for a living, right? But what happens if you use an open mic for depositions? You turn off your camera, you do whatever, and you're just sitting there. I mean, you could use this mic that I'm using for this, whatever. But what happens if you get sent to an in person? You made a really good point with that. I mean, because you need to find out that they can't hear you.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
my
I think,
understanding from Tori is that the software learns in a
hmm
certain way. And
hmm
because she was doing a demo for us in a seminar, and she's fabulous. But what's interesting is she was sitting there talking with an open mic the whole time,
hmm
we were watching her real time or her dragon or whatever. And then she switched to mask and it wasn't picking it up at all because
mm
it's weird. It's a little bit
yeah,
AI. It's a little bit like it learns.
it is. It is. I mean,
So,
it's a speech recognition software, and you speak different with an open mic than you do with a closed mic. You don't want to be heard. You don't when you have your closed mic on, and then Dragon will adjust the volume of your microphone, whether it's in a mask or whether it's in the open mic, to adjust to the room and to everything else. And so you're
ah,
battling that all the time if you're switching from one to the other. Yeah,
yes.
it's kind of scary. And I've had it happen. I rarely use an open mic. I have one, but I rarely use an open mic. So with testing, with all that stuff, I do everything with my mask and I make all my corrections with my mask. That's the only
Oh,
way for
cool.
you to, it's your buddy, man. It's like your machine. It's your buddy and your machine can't let you down. Neither can my mask. So
Mm-hmm.
so I'm curious, how many voice writers versus machine writers do you have in your firm?
Ooh,
And
so
there's no
so
right or wrong answer. Just curious.
no, of course. I'm proud to say it. I just don't know the exact number, primarily because they're all freelance, and so a lot of times, like you said, your friend out here works for several different agencies. That's definitely the way it is in
hmm
California. It's definitely an open market, and
hmm
kind of whoever gives me my favorite job or gives me the highest rate, I kind of go with them. There's less loyalty than there used to be. So we do have a core group of staff reporters,
hmm
but I would say of those, maybe, I don't know, 90% still or 80% are machine writers, and about
hmm
20 or voice. But I mean, every single week, every single day almost, we're getting uh, inquiries like, hey, can I start working for you? And most of the students coming out of school now are voice. So I
Yeah.
expect those numbers to grow because this is still very new. We've only had
Right.
licensees for 3 years, maybe.
Yeah. But you know what? We're getting, I mean, I know that every time NVRA tests out there, there's got to be 100 people testing. Um, I know that from friends of mine that are proctors, things like that. But, at some point, Stephanie, it's going to be not just about whether or not you're licensed, it's going to be about how good you are.
Oh, yeah.
Because we'll have plenty. We're going to have plenty. California is going to have plenty, but you are going to stand out once you have your real time and everything. You still need to get those certs. You got to get the certifications. You got to better yourself so you can stand out, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just started planning our convention for our DRA that's happening in
Hmm.
April. I get, so as outgoing president, they gifted me with, you get to be the committee
Ah, you're
chair for,
responsible.
yeah. No, I'm excited to do it. But was just talking about our theme yesterday and what do we want the takeaway to be from
Hmm.
this convention? And absolutely, that is what I'm emphasizing: real time and skills, and trying to make ourselves irreplaceable. And
Yes.
I think sometimes the mentality, and I don't know if this is the same in all states, but sometimes the mentality is, well, look at my great skills. I am irreplaceable.
Hmm.
Well, you may not be if you price yourself out of the market, if you're going to demand crazy, crazy rates, or if you're going to be, I hate to say it, but a little bit of a diva and say, I won't take that. I only take this. I only take that.
Right.
And I mean, we are going to be irreplaceable. I mean, we're going to be replaceable
Hmm.
if I mean, we're still a service industry. So you have to kind of balance that.
Well, there's a lot that plays into that. Your professionalism, how you dress, how you carry yourself, how you deal with situations, because we run into situations all the time that can be awkward, or, how do you deal with that? If they're talking over each other and you say, look, y'all need to stop, versus counsel, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I need everybody to take a breath, and going on and on and on about that. I'm not going to be one of those people that go out and say you need to wear this and this. I think that can be a little silly, but I think being able to let people know that what professional is and how to make that happen. But at the same time, like you said, and like I said, certifications, they're the deal closer. I mean, if you have a choice between sending out your top court reporter, whether they're voice or machine, and they're real time certified, they're not asking you to give real time, but that they're going to
Mm,
come back and this job is done and done right. You're not just going to send out the new person that's there, whether
right.
they're certified with the CVR or not. You've got to make those hard choices. And the way things are going, more and more court reporters are coming into the field. That's one of the things that I have made my goal, is to go out there and recruit and let people know this is court reporting. This is court reporting,
Yeah.
because they just don't know about it.
Yeah. For so long, we were at a deficit. And so we've made great strides in going to career fairs and recruiting and all these
Yeah.
fun TikTok videos and all this. But it is true, it's going to swing back a little bit. And we want it to a certain level
Hmm.
because we don't want to not have butts in the seats, and we need
Yeah.
people there, or else they will replace us with something else, even if it is
Hmm.
inferior. But it is tricky because we don't want to have
Just a warm
so
body.
many. Oh, yes, that's true. That's true.
You don't
But
want
you're
just a
right.
warm body. You want a capable warm body out there. That's the big difference. In your firm, are your court reporters responsible for producing the transcript? I'm not a deposition writer, so are they responsible for producing that transcript, or do you have a whole transcript production?
No, it is their work product.
Hmm.
They produce it entirely. But I will say that, and this goes across the board, machine or voice doesn't matter. There is a huge distinction sometimes between a good transcript and a not good transcript.
Mm-hmm.
And so we used to, a lot of firms just send them out assuming that they're fine. But we have a quality control person in our firm that looks over every single one. She was my proofreader for 15 plus years.
That's awesome.
And she is amazing. She catches everything to an annoying level where you're like, just calm down. It's fine. It's a semicolon. It's okay. Yeah.
It's a comma. It's not a career. It's a comma.
Exactly. But she's amazing. And so she will catch things. She'll even double check the appearances and, oh, this person isn't at this address anymore. And it's crazy. And so, and it may be annoying to our reporters, but I'm like, well, then you gotta turn in a good product. But I'm grateful when she catches stuff because I'm so glad it didn't go out like that.
Yeah, the next time you do a transcript, you're going to be more aware of what to look at, which makes you a better reporter. I mean, that's the whole point, right? To make yourself a better reporter. And I think that firms like yours are on the right path to keeping good reporters going out there, so they realize that we can be replaced. But should we? I mean, we could be, there's a lot of things you can do, but should you do it? Probably not. And I used to tell, I was a hairdresser for 25 years and I taught cosmetology in community college. And I used to tell my students, because I'd always have those ones that thought that they could do anything. I know everything. I said, look, there is a difference between confident and cocky. And right now, you are cocky. Ooh. You need to bring it back in because nobody likes a know-it-all. Nobody likes a know-it-all. Even if you may know everything. I can't imagine it, but you may know a lot. But nobody likes to be around those people because nobody wants to feel stupid or less than. Right. So always be a sponge, always be willing to be educated, and always be willing to learn from your mistakes. Don't let it tear you down when you fail something. Let it build you up. Those are all little bumper stickers, things that I read that I think make a whole lot of sense in this,
But it is true because even, I've been reporting 21 years. I've done some cool things. I'm about to go on a really cool gig next week with Major League Baseball, and it's really fun, and done international, done all these things, but I still make the dumbest mistakes, or, I can't keep up with somebody. There is always room for improvement. And I have so much room for improvement. And the minute we stop thinking that, I think that's our detriment for sure.
You're exactly right. And I think the better we are, the less we know, the better we are, because things start to build. When you stop learning, you're done, just retire, and that goes from the person that has a bad attitude in the McDonald's drive-thru to that court reporter that's sitting across from you trying to teach you something that, you don't really even know that yet. You don't know where you're going with that. So I'm not going to keep you anymore. I've kept you for 50 minutes on this beautiful Saturday. I'm sure it is in California. We got some rain out here and hurricanes coming in. Yeah, but that's okay. I live in the mountains, so we get the outskirts of it. So, but last year kind of proved that the mountains can get hurricanes too, with Asheville getting it and all that good stuff. And but anyway, Stephanie, thank you so much for being patient with me with getting you on here. I love the TikToks that you and Isaiah make. You crack me up, and that's why I wanted you here. And I want people to know who you are, so when they're looking for a good firm to work for, they know they're going to get somebody that's not just fly by the night. And I think you guys have it rolling.
Well, thank you. We want to be one of the last standing. If everybody else gets bought up, we want people to have an option,
We will
clients
not sell.
to have an option.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Well, have a wonderful Saturday.
Thank you.
And I hope to see you soon. And I'll let you know when this one's ready to come out, okay?
Perfect. Thanks so much.